Left that Fitzgerald Peterbilt there and saw you sitting there, and lo and behold, you have a tie-in to some of the folks that work at the dealership there. So tell me who I'm talking to and what you're running there.
Chris, it's David. You're right there. My son works at Fitzgerald. I've got a 2001 W9, a 2014 Trail Star dump trailer.
10-4, it looks mighty fine there. When I was walking through the dealership there, I took a peek out the door and saw it sitting there, and it certainly it'll get your attention, I'll tell you that.
I appreciate it, Chris. I get a lot of compliments on it, usually every day. There's a lot of work put into it. There's a lot of boys back at the shop that do a lot of washing and a lot of polishing. I just get to drive it around.
Oh, 10-4. Speaking of driving around, you're hooked to a dump trailer. Tell me what you haul and what your day consists of.
Chris, we got a whole fleet of trucks. We haul just about anything you put in a dump trailer. We run the East Coast, a little bit Midwest, but I haul a local run down here. I haul a product called dolomite. They make glass out of it. I'm very fortunate there. I get home every day. It's a pretty good deal.
Just to be specific, we're just east of Bristol, Virginia, heading westbound on 81. And this is the part of the country that I've not really done any rolling CB interviews yet, so this is interesting to learn what type of freight gets moved around. You mentioned dolomite. I don't know much about it, or actually I'll take that back. I don't know anything about it, so why don't you give me and some of the other viewers that'll be watching this a quick education on some of the things that get moved around here.
Yeah, basically, Chris, it comes out of a rock quarry. It's crushed limestone, but what makes it special is that it has a high content of magnesium in it. And it's one of the raw materials used to make the glass that they make for vehicles, houses, whatever.
So you bring it from a mine and you're taking it somewhere that's going to go ahead and process it and make the final products? Tell me about that.
Yeah, we take it down there and dump it out in a storage bin. It runs up a conveyor into the storage bin, and they run it into a plant, physically make glass with it. Then they ship it out all over the East Coast as a finished product. You can tell the automobile glass is a green glass, but they also make clear glass, and I think there's 4 or 5 different types of glass that they actually make at that plant.
Well, that's amazing. You take it for granted. Well, I take it for granted. We got glass in just about everything. Houses, cars, stuff we drink out of. You don't really stop to think about how it was made. You just think that glass just shows up the way that it is just, most of the time. But when you think of it being a raw material, in that form that you're speaking of, it's amazing to see the transportation part of the process and understand how trucking is essential to that part of the process, getting it from its origin to some of the final stages.
Oh yeah, over the years I've had the privilege like this facility down here to actually be able to go in and tour the plant and watch it be done. It's kind of amazing to see how these things are made.
Tell me how long you've been trucking for and what got you behind the wheel.
Well, my daddy drove, my daddy's father drove. I actually was put behind the wheel when I was 13, and it's in your blood, it's just another way of life, but my wife can tell you once it's in your blood, you don't get it out. I've been driving for, I guess, almost 30 years now. it's a different lifestyle. You got to want to do it to do it.
Yeah, I understand that. And you know, when you say you gotta want to do it to do it. You know, every part of this, the trucking industry is different. It has its ups, downs, caveats, pluses, minuses, and there's not parts that are glorious unless you're actually doing something that involves not doing much work with a show truck or with a truck. It's great to be able to talk to guys like yourself that play a key part in the economy of the things that we depend on. Was it always dump trailers that you ran, or was it always this area that you ran?
I don't know. I've pulled about everything you can think about, but mainly dump trailers, haul a lot of cattle. I tried a reefer there one time. They sat around too much. I just couldn't get into that, but I've tried a little bit of everything over the years. I really like pulling dump trailer.
Why? You know, tell me why. Why do you think you like that the best?
I'd say the best thing about it is you can load in about 5 minutes and you can unload in about 5 minutes. Very seldom do we sit around and wait, you know. The waiting's what kills you.
Yeah, probably not just in a term of boredom, but would it also be in a monetary sense as well? Killing your pocket?
Well, that's right. If you ain't moving, you ain't making nothing. So, you know, the more you sit around waiting to get loaded, the worse it is on you.
10 and 4. What other things? We're here in the Virginia area heading toward the Tennessee border. What other things move a lot around this area that folks may not know of?
There's a lot of raw materials in this area. There's a lot of natural gas, a lot of coal. Of course, coal's stripped it off, but we're blessed here. We got Bristol Motor Speedway. We got a little bit of industry, not as much as it used to be, but Bristol compressors over to your right. They move compressors all over the world. There's a lot of freight goes out of there, but there's a lot of natural resources here.
You know, when I think of Virginia, I think of coal mining, and things of that nature. Is that a resource that still plays a key part in the industry for this area?
It did until a couple years ago, and then it's dove off really hard. It's really hurt this region. Everybody's hoping it'll pick back up, but it's been really devastating to this region.
Give me some numbers or a raw number of what you think, how many people were working in the coal industry, or how many coal mines that were in operation that aren't in operation anymore.
I'd be afraid to even guess at that, Chris. I can tell you when I started hauling coal in the 80s, it was flourishing so well that all we done was haul coal out and come back empty. I mean, you know, if you went to Georgia, Alabama, Florida, wherever you went with it, New York, you come back empty. I mean, you couldn't get enough trucks to get it all hauled. Then it went from that to you're lucky to find a load to get us out away from the house, you know, when you left on the weekends, and there ain't much coal here at all to haul anymore.
Well, that says a lot, though. If you're saying that you could, you know, haul out and then come back and not have to worry about a back haul, you were probably making pretty good money there at that point.
Oh, yeah. Times have changed. We try not to deadhead it no more than we absolutely had to anymore. It's pretty devastating. We haul a lot of fertilizer, feed, agricultural products back into this area. It's nothing like it is out in the Midwest, but there is quite a bit of agriculture in this area.
We didn't talk too much about the truck. What do you got for a motor, transmission, gears, and you know, all that good stuff?
It's got a 600 cab with a 13 speed. I'm not for sure what rear ends are in it now, but it'll run pretty good.
I'll tell you what, it sounds great.
Thank you. My youngins are bad about rolling the windows down just so they can listen to it.
Well, I don't blame them one bit.
Years ago, this stretch of road that you're on now wasn't nothing but trucking terminals all the way to Kingsport. One of the largest motor lines in the country was Mason-Dixon, and one of their main terminals was down here where Target's at now.
Whatever happened to them? You know, it's kind of a dumb question to ask that.
I reckon they went broke and shut everything down, but it was one of the largest carriers in the United States at that time.
Well, that's a shame. Well, I'm going to ask you a question there. You know, most folks are going to be looking at the truck going like, well, that's a Kenworth. What does that have to do with Fitzgerald? They make these Peterbilts, or are they just starting to do Western Star gliders, if I'm right. I might be wrong about that, but they're offering Western Stars. You know, you were there at that dealership today. Did you have any impressions that you take away from it?
So far, I'm impressed with the whole organization up there. They seem to be doing very well. The company that I work for, we also have Peterbilts. We're not strictly Kenworth people. We've got 4 Peterbilts up there now, I believe, 4 or 5. It's going to be good for the area. I think they're going to do well with it.
I have the same feeling as well. You walk in there and everything is laid out in a way where, like, you were in a larger city and you walk into a dealership. So, you know, it's very, very impressive. Whoever's making decisions about things they're doing the right thing, making the right decisions, and that hopefully that follows through with the customer base that they will continue to build.
I think you're seeing it grow right there. By living right there, I've seen what it was and what it's become, and it's definitely growing in the right direction. That terminal over there on your right, Chris, that's UPS now, but that used to be overnight transportation before UPS bought them out, and that was one of their major terminals over there.
You were talking earlier about the coal industry being very important in this area. Do you think that a lot of these supporting companies left because of the effects that the lack of the coal production has had on the area?
Oh, it's definitely hurt a lot of industries that's tied to the coal industry. The trickle-down effect was way greater than what anybody thought, but we've lost a lot of industry over the years in this area. We've got Eastman down here in Kingsport where we're heading. They're about all that's left, but we keep losing it and keep losing it. And you can definitely feel it in the region.
I understand that. Do you normally run these hours?
Yeah, most of the time, Chris. The loads during the day is frustrating. As the sun goes down and everybody goes home, it gets a little bit more enjoyable.
So they're moving this material around the clock?
Yeah, pretty much. There's 2 of our trucks hauling down here right now with me. We try to split it up and keep it to where at least one of us is hauling at all times. Sometimes it don't work out that way, but that's what we shoot for.
Tell me about the company that you're working for and the size of the company.
I drive for Greg Kiser Trucking. It's a father and son. Gary Kiser Trucking is his dad. They run it together, but I actually drive for Greg. This is actually his personal truck that he drove for years. They've got 30-some trucks now. It's hard to keep up with anymore, but they're really good people. They give us all something nice to ride in, and they take a lot of pride in their equipment. I think it shows when you see one of them go down the road.
Now, with the other trucks, you mentioned that you run local thereabout. Where do the other guys go?
We run all over the East Coast, Midwest, Texas. A couple weeks ago, I was in Kansas, South Carolina, Florida, New York, New Jersey, just all over the East Coast. And the Midwest, we don't get out there a whole lot, but we do run out there.
I was wondering how these electronic logging devices that are potentially going to come out, how would that affect what you do?
Not a whole lot. we're local, we'll be exempt from it. There's certain stipulations to it. As long as we meet those stipulations, the local trucks will be exempt.
Now, what's your opinion on how it may affect other guys that run longer distances and run over the road?
I'll tell you what the problems that we're seeing in this corridor. You just want to know what it's like around here. After 5 o'clock at night on the East Coast, you can't find anywhere to park a truck. We're worried that when you have to sleep on a ramp or something because there is nowhere to park, what are you going to do then?
One thing that the government wants to do creates another problem, and there is no fix for the problem that's being created.
That's exactly right, and the cost that it's going to incur on the owners is astronomical.
Well, David, it's been a pleasure riding along with you, getting to take in a bit of the Virginia frontier side and the mountain views. Thanks for letting me tag along with you. Thanks for the conversation, sharing what this area, has to offer in terms of trucking, and hopefully we'll see you soon. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
It tickles me that we get to put something like this out here. I wish there was somebody better to better represent it than me, but I'm really pleased.
Well, the thing is, you represent, a lot of the guys that are out there. You are the same type of guy that's, working the hours, running the truck, and, either working local or not. I think you're the perfect representation, in my opinion, because anything else, you got the guys that run the show trucks and stuff, and, they're great guys, but it's just a different way of trucking. So I'm more than happy to have been able to spend the time with you. I'm glad it worked out the way that it did.
Well, it's been quite enjoyable. I know it really excited my son. You just don't know, he's been watching your videos for quite some time now.
Well, that's awesome. With the way that the internet is and all these videos and whatnot, I'd imagine that these things will stay around for a long time. And it's something to be proud of, where a guy or, your son can look back and go, that's my dad right there, that's him doing that, because we only got pictures to look at as far as what our grandparents or parents did.
Well, you do a good job. Like I say, he got me to watching your videos, and you know how it is. One chicken trucker appreciates the other one. I hope you be careful in your travels. I hope you enjoy the Martha Washington there. That's really a historic place there in Abingdon, so I hope you enjoy that this evening.
Well, thank you very much. You take care, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Okay, bye.